Hi, I'm Caroline Bateman. I founded Achieve Now because I wanted to help students do better at school. I have a track record for helping students with dyslexia and other learning difficulties exceed all expectations, and I'm delighted to have lots of reviews that talk about my services in more detail. Obviously, this quick selection popped up far too quickly to read, but you can search for Google reviews and read them at your leisure. I'm often asked, what is the most important skill you can teach dyslexics? And I always say touch typing. Why? Because it enables them to access so many technologies and apps that help them get better grades. Now, I've put a text box here that will summarize the benefits of learning to type, but I'd really recommend that you watch a video that goes into more detail of the benefits of touch typing. Now, in this video, I'm going to give you a top tip in how to use timed tests to teach touch typing more effectively. But this channel is about so much more than touch typing. This channel is all about helping students get better grades. And if that's something that interests you, I suggest you subscribe, hit the bell button, and you'll be informed when I create new videos. Before I just go through these points, I'm just going to tell you 3 quick stories. I used to teach typing in my after school clubs, and it was an optional activity. So we'd be teaching study skills and comprehension, and typing was something that the students could opt in or out of, because some of the students told me they could type and others couldn't. And over time I came to realize that the students that told me they could type were telling me the truth, but they were deceived. Their typing skills were absolutely rubbish. So I instigated a typing test at the beginning of the sessions to work out who could really type, and I found the take-up rate went from about 50% of the students to, well, it was 100% of the students, because even those that could type had room for improvement. The second story I wanted to tell you about was I help a lot of students get better grades, and the sooner I get involved in teaching them how to learn and revise and an exam technique, the better. But sometimes families come to me after the exams have gone wrong. One family came to me with a very bright dyslexic child who had not got the grades that she needed to in her GCSEs in order to get her A levels, and I debriefed because I couldn't work out what had gone wrong. She knew her topic, she had revised well, she had 50% extra time, and she really liked the stuff. She wanted to go on and do it at A level, but she hadn't got good enough grades, and I asked her a lot of questions and I managed to pinpoint the problem. She was a rubbish typist and she was a laptop user in exams. So even though she had 50% extra time and she knew her stuff, she just ran out of time. So that's another reason why I just routinely give my students a typing test. And the final story I wanted to tell you is when I had 3 dyslexic children who I needed to teach to touch type, I didn't like the cost of the courses, and I thought, oh, I can do this at home. So I bought a teacher typing solution, and I told them every time they went up 5 words per minute, I would give them £5. They were delighted with that. I thought it would save me a fortune, and they kept saying, oh, look, mummy, I'm getting 15 words per minute. Oh, I'm getting 20, I'm getting 25. And I was handing out my fivers to my 3 children, thinking I'd booked the system, until I got them to do something like a timed test, and that in a timed test they were getting about 8 or 9 words per minute, and I realized they were telling me results they were getting on simple lessons. So the scores that they were routinely achieving, they could not replicate when they were doing schoolwork. Now I've told you those 3 stories, I think this will make more sense. Why do I use timed tests? I want to persuade my students to learn to type, and I'm going to show you the most persuasive thing I do, but timed tests are a key part of that. Students are aware of their real progress. They're not aware of their real progress when they're just looking at the results after every game. And when they see the chart that shows their progress over time, it really motivates them and it makes it worthwhile doing the practice, which is tedious and boring. But when they see the results and they know the next thing I'm going to tell you is as to how much it impacts their exams. They want to do well in exams and therefore they're motivated to practice. If I extrapolate the charts that I showed you that shows their progress over time, I can set realistic goals with students and then they can work towards those goals and even reward them when they get to those goals, and it makes for really dynamic, motivated typing lessons. So now I'm getting to one of the most important slides, because students want to do well in exams. So I asked them the question, how could your typing skills impact your exam results? Obviously this only applies to students who can type in exams, who are laptop users, but it's a very easy access arrangement to get if it's a student's normal way of working. And I'm going to gloss over this slide, but this gives you all the assumptions behind the calculations that I've made, so you can always come back and look at this later. But here is the answer to the question, and I'll talk you through it. Now, this would be a typical handwriting speed for a 16-year-old. That's 19 words per minute is a typical handwriting speed for a 16-year-old. The OK typists, people that have taught themselves or have been on the odd course, they tend to come at around about 25 to sort of 32 words per minute would be where most people get stuck if they're not really taught to type well. So if somebody is an OK typist, they would be able to write in 2.5 hours 290 sentences, opposed to 190 if they were writing at this speed. So if they're an OK typist, they can write an extra 100 sentences in a 2.5 hour exam. Now, if you think it's possible, if you know your subject, you could get 1 mark for every additional sentence. So this, by just being an OK typist, means you could have an extra 100 marks. But if you come on one of my intensive courses, or if a child is highly motivated and will learn on their own, they could get speeds of up to, and I'm putting 50 words per minute because that's what I got when I did my time test earlier, but my students often get higher speeds than I do by the end of the course. So I've put in 50, in which case in 2.5 hours I could write 500 sentences, which is an extra 310 sentences. And when children see that, they see the value in learning to type, and they are highly motivated, because rather than get loads and loads and loads more extra time, which no one's going to give them, they could write 310 extra sentences if they just devoted their time to improving their typing speeds. So I hope that has motivated you. And I just want to finish off by saying, if you want to get higher grades, watch the rest of this playlist. I couldn't get all the information about how useful touch typing it is and all my tips to help teach touch typing into one video, so I've created a playlist. I also have a worksheet you can download which actually details all the ways typing can improve grades, and it's good to have it written down, not just having to take notes while you watch my many videos that talk about the different benefits in different ways. And also check out my other free ebooks. I'm always creating free resources, and down in the details below I'll show you where you can get hold of these resources. And if you found this useful, please do subscribe and hit the bell button, and remember to share this information with anyone else who could benefit, because so many teenagers need to understand the benefits of learning to type, and so many schools need to understand that they need to be teaching this and how to teach it well. So I really hope you found this useful, and I hope you go on to either do really well in exams yourself, or you go on and help many students achieve far more because they've learnt to type.